Hello everyone, this is Prithvi once again from the Tech Bulletin, and well, today we have Mr. Ambarish from Knowlarity Communications, and they're basically working in the SME space for quite some time now in the cloud telephony segment. So today we are basically going to talk about the new products they are having and how the Knowlarity Communications is basically helping the SMEs and the new startups. So thanks a lot, Mr. Ambarish, for talking to us. And if before starting the Q&A session, if I could just ask about the Knowlarity Communications, how you started and what the flagship products you have.
So we are a cloud telephony company. We provide office numbers to small business and larger enterprises. So we have small business such as literally Khalis Guru and Intelia, right? Small restaurants, tours and travels companies.
Focusing only on the SMEs, the small businesses for now.
Larger as well. So for example, Twitter is our customer, right? Every Google partner is our customer. Naukri, looking at IndiaMart, Zomato, all of these are our customers. We provide telephony for both small businesses and large enterprises. Customers are calling on phone not only to small business, but they're also calling for large enterprises, and they all need a way to be able to manage these incoming calls and process them and make it something useful, so that you can do analysis, you can route them, and all the good stuff that you can do with customer communication. So we offer those things, and we are the dominant player now in India and many of the emerging markets.
Okay, so if you could just explain that, you said the super receptionist thing, is one of those flagship products which you have just launched, and which is basically how long has it been since you launched that?
We are a 6-year-old company.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the super receptionist.
That's almost 4.5-year-old.
Okay. So how does that actually make the work for a startup or SME better? Because I've basically been researching a lot about this. I know it says like it does give an edge to the SMEs because they cannot really hire to they cannot really afford to hire a receptionist, and the whole thing manages the work in a great sense. So how
see, every business needs a business number, right? Irrespective of what you are, you need a business number that you put on your business card. What people have been doing, they take their mobile phone, which is a consumer phone, and put that as their business number. Now the problem is, when the call comes, let's say you did some advertising, you put it on the business card and gave it away, and people called you. There's no way, if you're getting reasonably large volume, for you to be able to route the calls. Let's say you're not available, you're doing a meeting, you're doing dinner, right? That lead is lost. If the call is not picked up, the customer may go to your competitor. So you need a way to be able to route these calls. Second, like the whole year passed, do you know on your mobile phone who all called you in last 1 year? No. But as a business you want to know, because if you know who all called you and you have a list of it, you can send them a SMS on Holi Diwali. And if that's the most important data, if you can send an SMS to them, 5 of them, 10 of them will come back and say, oh, you remember us, we called you 6 months back, right? By the way, I still need this, can you, for example, offer me? So you can do real customer engagement and customer campaigns on this platform.
So is Knowlarity basically managing the database as well?
Everything. So it's a full business phone system.
Okay.
It routes the call. There's a welcome greedy, welcome to ABC company. It routes the call, and after that it records everything so that it's available to you. You can figure out like how many calls you missed, which sales guy missed the call, being listen to the recording. You can see what is the duration of the call, how many people calling from Bangalore, how many people calling from Delhi, how many people calling from international markets. All this interesting business insight from the most important data that you got, which is customer calling you. That's the most important data. That's your leads, right? And unfortunately and very surprisingly, there's no system to be able to do something like this. People use their mobile phone, which is not a business phone, it's a consumer phone. So we offer business phones, and we have 12,000 customers who are using this service now.
Making it a little simpler for the people who are watching this video, how does the whole mechanism work from a startup or SME contacting you to get the services, and till the time you make it available for them, to make it working for them? How does the whole mechanism work?
You can just go to our website, sign up, you get free forever plan, which is free for life.
Okay. Now I'm basically talking about the back end stuff, if you could just explain that. And
so we spend a lot of time in building up a kick-ass PSTN cloud telephony platform in India called Knowless. It's a large-scale distributed system which can process millions of calls in a day. I think the highest that we have processed is close to 5 million calls in one day. It's a distributed system, so that there's a failover, right? So if the one system goes down, the second system works, right? So there's always very high uptime for incoming calls that are coming your way. I can go deeper into technology, but it's a web scale technology. 5 million calls are very high, very thick data. So web request, for example, can be 100 kilobyte, 200 kilobytes, right? But the incoming call is megabytes, right? And you imagine 5 million incoming calls, that's a lot of data. So be able to process the data, you can't run it on single system, you have to have clusters of hundreds of systems. And when you handle the system, you have to worry about reliability, you have to routing, right? You have to failover, all those things. So we develop all this technology ourselves.
So how do you take care of the reliability and even maybe the privacy concerns, because a lot of SMEs might even have them. And the other thing is where the data centers based. Are they based out of India? Are they based out of the United States?
So there are two parts of the data. One is the telephone call processing, right? And Indian law says that you can take telephone calls outside voice over IP, for example, you cannot do. So you have to deploy the system on the same premises in India. So we have data center deployed in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai currently, right? Where we process Indian calls. Outside India, we have Turkey, Vietnam, Singapore, Philippines, all these markets. We have data center and offices now as well. However, there is also a web interface which sits on AWS currently. Okay. So we do what we need to do on the ground and then be able to process everything and push it up.
Okay, so how about the reliability and the privacy stuff, if you want to comment?
So reliability is very high. Actually, one of the reasons we are the dominant player in this market is others are not able to offer high quality technology.
How do you take care of that?
It's a distributed system, right? So any distributed system, literally, right? You can detect when the systems are going down and be able to switch off those systems so the call gets routed to the right places. So we do all those things. Okay. I have a degree in computer science from IIT, and what I did in IIT in 14 years back when I was studying, there was distributed systems. Distributed systems, one is you divide the scale, right? So you can do one little bit on every single point, and then the second is it can offer you reliability, because if you have 10 systems, 10 servers, all 10 servers will not go down at the same time. It will be 2 servers. So if you can figure out a way to be able to process the same calls on 8, then you have very high uptime.
Okay, so we're talking about this time, when we have a lot of startups coming in. So, what kind of personalized solutions do you have for startups, and or maybe do you offer something good, which is only exclusively for the startups?
So we give 6 months free to startups. That's number one, which is full-fledged system. We sell our solutions for around 20,000 rupees a year. But we also have a free version, which is full-fledged system again, but it's a limited number of usage that the startups potentially can use, and anybody can use. You just go sign up on our website. It's as simple as signing up on Facebook.
Okay, so basically, if you just want to comment on the booming startup ecosystem in India or maybe abroad, what do you think where the startup world is heading? Because you just told that you did your IIT degree 14 years back, so you have actually seen the whole startup system booming from 2004, 2005 to now 2015. What do you think is a startup ecosystem going?
I think we have kick-ass people and great problems to solve. So I think billion-dollar companies will be built here in India. I think people say Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India. I think there's potential, and I would love to hear that the San Francisco is the Silicon Valley of or Bangalore of US.
You talk.
And I'll tell you, we have bigger problem to solve, and when there are bigger problems, there are bigger opportunities. Yeah. India has 1.2 billion people, and emerging markets in together is growing much faster than developed markets. Right, you are talking about larger population growing faster in terms of GDP versus US market, which is kind of stagnant, right? And 300 million people, and then Europe, if you include, right, another, half a billion or billion people, right? So the new opportunities currently in 21st century are in emerging markets, and India is the tech hub currently for all of the emerging markets. The Bangalore is the place where everything happens.
We talk a lot about India being the tech hub, Bangalore being the Silicon Valley, but still there is basically a tendency that India-based startups or maybe Asia-based startups are more into the service side, not in the product side. I know that is one of the reasons why we haven't actually seen a lot of flagship products coming out of the India or maybe Asia Pacific. So what do you think is the reason behind that, and how can that be changed?
Well, the past is past, right? I mean, you start somewhere. When Narayan Murthy started Infosys I don't know, some 20 years back, right?
Service-based.
It's a service-based company, right? But at the time, people didn't really have anything. Like people had job security issue, and when you cannot take risk, right? You do services first. And what happened afterward is sometime in 2004, 2005, when there were plenty of services job available, people could take risk, right? And then there was VC ecosystem started building up, and people start taking risk. And look at Zoho, for example, Capillary, us. We are not selling in India. We are selling in all over Asia. You look at Dhruva, right? So you look at InMobi, right? All of these Indian companies have gone out and made quite a bit waves. So we move quite far away from the services based service economy companies or services company, but it was needed. It is the first step to everything. This from zero tech software industry, here we are building up products which are competing with the best companies in the world. I mean, look at Ola versus Uber, right? I mean, they're competing. Flipkart versus Amazon.
Yeah.
Like nobody in US were able to compete with Amazon, right? Alibaba is coming to India now, and then these guys will compete. So there's a natural progression that happens, right? And I think we have gone through that very fast natural progression. I was talking with a friend in Valley a couple of days back, and he was saying, you should come to India because just the valuation that you get nowadays in India for the consumer companies, there's just more excitement about building valuable company in India than it is in Valley currently.
So well, again talking about the startups, you spoke about quite a few startups, from coming up from India. But there's another thing in India that a lot of startups don't actually get the kind of the valuation, and they don't really get the kind of funding. And like there was a survey which actually said that 92% of startups coming from India actually fail. So what do you think can be the reason behind that, and what will be your tips to those startup owners?
Well, 92% of startups anywhere in the world fail. Yeah. I think Valley probably is larger.
I'm not talking about
I think everybody fails. Like startups in general fail, right? When you start a company, you should just think of it like there's a very high chance this thing is going to fail. Very high chance means 90+%. And the first question that you asked was the valuation issue. Yeah. That issue is gone. No, but still, I'm a board member in a company which is 8-month-old. We just raised $10 million from SAF. Right, my friends sitting in US talking about coming to India so that they can get better valuation is not funny. It's true. Yeah. Right. I think the valuation problem we have solved, combined with the fact that we have much lower salaries compared to US. Right, almost half. I mean, it's increased quite a bit. Half. So you can go longer. Right, we have much bigger market and much bigger problems. You go out, you have roads you cannot walk, right? There is a noise, right? You try to procure any services, there are issues. It's a much bigger opportunities available. Much bigger problem, but much bigger opportunity. You go to US, there's no problem. Which problem will you solve? So I think we are sitting on a great opportunity. There's a lot of capital available. There's a lot of young, energetic, risk-taking people available who say, well, if I fail, I'll take a job, right? Jobs are dime a dozen, right? I can take up. It's okay. So which creates an amazing hotbed for innovations, technology-led innovations in India, which is happening right in front of our eyes.
Okay, so getting into the future, like what Knowlarity has planned for next 2 to 5 years.
Well, we will continue to dominate cloud telephony space in the coming years, and we have done so in India, and we'll do it in the rest of the world as well.
So you say that there are no direct competitors you have as of now?
We have direct competitors, but they are very small.
Okay, and they are.
It's 8-10 companies. So we started in 2009, and I remember like starting up and say my hypothesis was that given that every consumer has got a phone in India, they are going to call business, and business needs something more evolved to be able to handle this barrage of calls that they're going to receive. And I came back to India. I was in New York in 2009. And I remember for 1 year, literally I going telling VCs that this is going to happen, and they're not believing it. But it started happening in 2010, and then we started building a business, right, and started growing, and Series A happened 2012 January. And one thing that I was always worried was how come I don't have any competitor, because there are only two reasons. Either you're like super good, like you're amazingly good, you're Elon Musk, or you're doing something really stupid because nobody want to copy you. And I thought maybe it's the second case, right, that we are doing something really stupid. But I think what happens in India, what I didn't realize, that as soon as Sequoia funding happened, Series A, immediately we got like 8 companies to start who copied our business model. There was a company, Unicom, VMC, Exotel, Ozontel, Ziffy, Resolvity, and then a couple more that I don't know. So within 6 months, all these companies started, right, and try to copy this, but they haven't been very successful. I mean, if you look at the size of these companies, are tiny. Then nobody was able to raise any investment, and the reason they are not able to do it, one is technology is very difficult, right? This is not creating an app on the app store. I'm not saying making app is difficult, but this is order of magnitude more difficult. It's AWS of telephony, right? You really have to get down into hardware, software interfaces, and distributed system. Selling to businesses in India is not easy, right? You have to show real revenues, and then complexity, right? This is a very complex business, and nobody has been successful, and we didn't really have to compete. It's a jungle that they couldn't pass.
So, well, talking about the financial side, what has been the total amount of investment you have raised till now? Where the valuation actually sits at this point of time. If you want to comment on that.
Valuation, I would not make any comment, because this valuation is in the eyes of the beholder.
Okay.
But we have raised 2 million in angel round, 6.5 million in Series A in 2012, and then $15 million in Series B.
Okay.
So 15 plus 6.5 plus 2 will be 23 or 24 million dollars.
So what's the portion of equity which you have dissolved?
Quite a bit.
So if you're talking about the board, are you the only member sitting?
No, we have investors from Sequoia and Mayfield now.
Like apart from the investors, if I talk about the founding team.
No, I'm the single founder.
Okay. So what plan do you have in the financial side? And then next, like, is there any plan to go IPO?
I think that's what something along that line we'll have to do. We haven't thought too much about it, right? Because currently we are not IPO ready, right? I think it's still time to go. And what I have, if this I don't have to make any, I can dream about it, but I can't make any decisions. So I think this still 2-3 years. In the future, we'll see. I mean, the way the world is changing, in 2-3 years we might be talking with a machine. So you never know, like, how the world is changing. The world is changing very quickly. I mean, look at the private sector, or the money available in the private market, as we call it, right? You can raise $1 billion from investors. You don't have to go to an IPO. Earlier, it used to be that you have to go to public market to be able to raise something like this. So the world is changing very quickly. So I don't know how 2-3 years is going to be.
So no exit plans even as of now?
As of now, why would there be? I mean, first of all, why would there be any exit plans? Second, who will buy us?
No, you talk that you are one of the flagship brands in this kind of domain. So for anyone might be interested in that.
Yeah, but there's no interest of doing anything like that.
Okay. Well, that's all, I guess, for now. It was really nice talking to Ambarish about the Knowlarity Communications. And well, I'll be back with some other video very soon. Thanks a lot for watching.
Thank you.